What's up, YouTube? It's your boy, Double Wing Coach here, man. I've been wanting to do this video for a long time. It's my good God blocking system. I get a lot of comments on my offensive line. In all my videos, you'll see my offensive line just simply getting it. It's because ever since I started coaching football, I knew that getting my offensive line together in this offense was going to be the key between winning games or going home with losses. So for many years, since pretty much back in, I believe, 2009, 2010, I found Steve Calande online, who was one of the best guys I'd ever seen running the double wing offense. And I got the good God system from him. I brought it over when I took my system and I ran less under center and more gun. My blocking system has stayed the same over the years. I've taught it to younger kids and older kids, although I do prefer older kids. I think if you just rep younger kids and just always ask them these questions I'm going to go over today and these kind of like little statements that you see drawn on the board, you can get your system, your blocking up to speed, because I think this blocking system, it adapts to all kinds of defensive fronts. Your kids will always have the answers provided they understand this blocking progression that you see up here: God, good, GDB, FBI, backer to safety. Now, understand that these rules that you see on the right-hand side, they are only for the play side of the line. So if you're running to the right side, say you're running 34 power, then this blocking progression is only going to apply to the right side of line from here over, okay? So first of all, let's just before I start this progression, explain this. I want you guys to understand that your center is always blocking mama, man on, man away, all the time. His rule kind of never really changes. I mean, I think maybe 5% of the time, or I have some specialty plays where he has to do something different, but pretty much my center is always blocking man on, man away, which means if he has a man on him, that's his guy. As soon as he steps to the line, if he sees a nose tackle in between his shoulder pads or his feet, that's his guy every single time. So now that the center's out of the way, the progression kind of takes over on the right side of the line. I'm going to discuss the right side of the line for first. Now, if you understand my system and you've bought my manuals, you'll understand that I number kids. Two kid, the number 2 guy, the number 4 man, and the number 6 man going down the line. On the left side of the offense, we have 3, 5, 7, and my center's feet are numbered 1 on the left, 0 on the right. Okay, I do not call plays to specific holes because holes are static. As soon as you snap the ball, there's no hole there because all the kids are moving. So I teach my running backs that if we're going to run a play to say 34 power and we're running to the 4-man, his target point is going to be the outside hip of the 4-man. So if the 4-man is up here somewhere because he's moved, that is still your aiming point, your aiming target for your run. Okay, so that's exactly why I do that. I don't like naming holes, because as soon as the ball is snapped, there's no hole. The hole goes away. All right, so as coaches, to be able to teach anything to young kids, you're going to have to memorize this progression over here: God, good, GDB, FBI, and BS. So I'm going to briefly describe. God stands for gap, on, down. Good stands for gap, on, outside gap, down. GDB stands for gap, down, backer. FBI is first backer inside, and then 5 is backer to safety, meaning whoever is blocking BS will basically chip a backer and then come off and try to pick up the safety, okay? Now, there's another couple of rules that you want to memorize as coaches, because these are the things you want to be telling your kids pretty much every practice when you start this, especially your linemen. So the first rule is, if we run at you, you must be good. Okay, which means if I'm running a play to the 4-man, which is your right tackle, he is automatically blocking good, and he needs to know that if we're running at you, you must be good. Now, the second rule: all good fellas have God inside, which means if you are inside the at-man, going all the way down to the center has his own rule of mama, man on, man away. But if you are inside the at-man, you are blocking gap, on, down. Okay? Now, this guy over here, I pull my tight ends aside and I teach them all year. I always get in their face and I'm like, what are you blocking on 34 power? And the answer needs to be, coach, I'm blocking GDB. I'm the kingpin. Okay, I refer to my tight ends as kingpins because they are responsible for the pin block inside that is going to basically like open up this lane for you to run in once the pullers come through. Okay, the kingpin always blocks GDB. He is the first man outside of the at-man. He is always going to block gap down backer. Now, who follows the kingpin? The FBI. Okay, that's the next progression over here. Gap down backer to the FBI. So if I draw how this is going to look on, say, 34 power, this guy's going to be blocking God. This guy's going to be blocking good. This guy's going to be blocking GDB. And this guy is going to be blocking FBI. Okay? Now, as you notice, there's no one well, where's the other guy that's blocking backer to safety? There's nobody because the progression has ended. You have no other kids left to block. So this progression is still fine. God, good, GDB, FBI. God, good, GDB, FBI. Okay? So there technically is no backer to safety block. Now, you'll see later when that possibility changes, it's because you have more kids or you called in a more inside hole. So you'll understand that in a second and how that whole thing works. Okay? I'm going to leave this up here. You guys may want to write down these things because, again, these things are going to be should be the questions that you are asking the kids every practice. Like, hey, we're going to run 34 power. Point to the tight end. What are you doing? What's your blocking rule? And his answer needs to be GDB. Hey, guard, what's your blocking rule? Oh, coach, it's I'm blocking God because I'm inside the at-man. Okay, so make sure you write that down. It's like, kind of a special thing you guys need to know. And I'm going to basically show you how this thing progresses out on, say, I'm going to show you 34 power because obviously 34 power is your base play. It needs to be running crispy. All right, so first thing I'm going to show is your center. I'm going to show I'm just going to show a half line for right now, just so you don't have any confusion. Actually, you know what? I'll just put the full line in so you guys can get the gist of it. I like running offset fullback, so I put my fullback over here. I have tags to do that. This would be bear configuration. Over here would be bull configuration, and then if I say nothing, he's just center line behind the quarterback. All right. So again, this is your at man. This is your 4-man. This is your 6-man. This is your 2-man. Okay. I'm gonna run 34 power. So this is Ray 34 power versus I'm just gonna do as a typical 5-3. So you have an end here. I'll put tackles heads up on our tackles. I'll put our ends at standard configurations over here outside and then I'll put a backer. Some teams roll their corners back up here, and then the safety will be just up here. Safety doesn't really matter at this point. All right, so running the progression, you know that your center has man on, man away. So this is going to be his guy, okay? Again, Ray 34 power. This is your at-man. He is blocking good. This guy's blocking God. This guy's blocking GDB. And this is technically your 8-man, even though that's your 2-back, but we'll just call him the 8-man for blocking purposes. He's going to be blocking FBI because who follows the kingpin? The FBI, okay? So right off the bat, you see that your center has the nose, okay? This guy's blocking GOD, gap on down. So he steps to the line and he looks, and does he have someone in his gap, which would be right here? No. Does he have someone on him, which would be someone straight across from him? No. So he gets to the last rule of his blocking progression. He realizes down. The definition of down is anyone on your inside neighbor. So he has someone on his inside neighbor right there, the nose tackle. So he's going to come off, and he's going to pick up this nose tackle. Okay, so there's a double right there. You got a double on the nose. Okay. Now the 4-man, he steps to the line. He's like, hey, if we're running at me, I must be good. So he steps to the line. He runs his progression. Gap. Is there anyone in his inside gap? No. His next O is on. Is there anyone on me? Yes. So he picks up this guy. Okay. The next guy, he looks, he steps, the kingpin steps to the line. He does his little progression. He knows he's blocking GDB, gap, down, backer. He looks in his gap. Is there anyone in his gap? No. He looks to his next progression. Is there someone down from me? Yes, because there's a guy on my inside neighbor. So he picks up this guy, okay? So now you have a double on the nose and on the play side tackle, okay? Now this guy, he knows he's blocking first backer inside. So he doesn't ever touch the defensive end. The defensive end is a free runner. So if your wing can squeeze inside and get to this backer, that's what he wants to do. Okay? The end is a free runner because your end is property of the fullback and is going to get kicked out right here. Okay? Make sense? So that's pretty much how it sets up. Like I said, this is Ray right here. He's running off the four-man's inside, outside hip. I mean, honestly, it's wherever the hole presents itself, okay? On the backside of this play, I gate pull, so my tackle always kind of like does a fast inside reach. This guy pulls, and he pulls the backward C. You can see how it's a backward C. My guard always pulls, turns. As soon as he steps past the center, he turns upfield and he cuts off usually the middle backer. My backside tight end does the same thing, but as he comes up, he goes inside out, picks up a backer, maybe a safety, could be a corner that's coming down. It really depends. Now your quarterback, since in the under center double tight double wing, he is going to make his toss and he is going to spin and enter the line, and he goes and blocks. He can go pick up that center. Okay, so that's 34. That's 34 power with the good God blocking system versus a basic 5-3. Okay, I'm gonna erase this again. And now this is where it's going to kind of like, you're going to get a better understanding, because I'm not going to run another 4-play. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run this progression with a 2-play, okay? So one of my popular plays I used to love was the Lee 42 counter trap XX, and I'm going to show you what the counter trap does and how the blocking adjusts itself. So you have your center playing mama, you have your 2-man, your 4-man, your 6-man, and your wing, okay? Your 8-man, okay? All right, so for this play, I'm going to leave I'm going to leave the backer in his standard configuration. You could put him over here in bull. I mean, if you wanted. I mean, it really depends. But again, your center is blocking mama, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the progression. I kind of put this a little bit high, but I'm going to do the progression same way against a 5-3, okay? Heads up on the tackles. Backer, 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 end, okay? Now, this play is called Lee 42 counter trap XX, okay? Now, as you can see, this progression is still valid, okay? But now you've made the at-man the 2-man. So this is your at-man right here. So now your at-man is blocking good, okay? Which makes your tackle the kingpin. He is blocking GDB. It makes your tight end now is blocking FBI. And now your 8-man, well, he would be blocking backer to safety, but because he is running XX motion, he is going to be, he's not going to be a blocker. He's running motion in the backfield, so he can't be a blocker, okay? But if this was power, if we were going to run like a 32 power, like Ray 32 power, then the 8-man would be blocking backer to safety. This is really the only time you're going to ever have a guy that's going to block backer to safety, because you made the at-man here. So now the progression follows good, GDB, FBI, backer to safety. You have 1, 2, 3, 4 kids to actually do that, okay? So if we run this all again, your center has man on, man away, okay? Your at man is blocking good. Gap, no. On, no. Outside gap, no, because he's not here. He's heads up on the tackle, okay? So he automatically blocks down. So you get this double again, okay? Now, check this out. This is where this is the great parts about the system, okay? So a trap play needs to have a trap block. So this guy right here, who is now one guy, he's your kingpin, okay? He's one guy outside the at man. So he looks gap, no. Down, no, because he's nobody's heads up over the guard. So he goes to backer. So he just finds the closest backer, okay? Your 6-man is first backer inside. Now, most likely this backer is going to be in this area. I wouldn't go to the center look, especially on a counter trap. So this guy would send him directly to this backer, okay? Now, that means the tackle gets a free run into the backfield, which is good, because on all counters, my backside guard is who makes this trap block. Okay, this guy's fast inside reaching. You can gate pull, and he does the same thing. He comes up. The end is also a free runner, but this handoff, which happens after a counter step, he counter steps, quarterback turns. The ball exchange is made here, and he runs it right through here. This end, he can't, there's not enough room for him to even get close to here. He'll be way past the end. Like, you want penetration. Counter traps, you want penetration. But you see how the blocking has adjusted itself to tell you that this is the man that you're trapping, okay? The system adjusts itself, okay? Like, there's no additional training that the kids really need. They just need to understand this blocking progression right here, okay? Now, I'll also show you how this works if you call a play that's, say, one hole wider, because it also still works. All right, so I'll just show you a play. We'll go with Ray 36 power, okay? Sometimes I've had this happen where the ends, I'll give you a perfect example of why I would run a 36 power, okay? Occasionally teams will try to do this. Let's say they have a nose tackle, then they have a tackle here, and then they try to bring their ends in, and they want to play their ends like heads up on my tight end, okay? They're trying to squeeze me, all right? And they'll bring their centers down. Maybe they'll use their centers to contain backer, backer, backer. And we'll call the play Ray 36 power, okay? Now, whoop, I need to permanently put this bitch up. Okay, so Ray 36 power. So you're still following your guidelines over here. Okay, so now what it's going to look like is this is going to be your 6-man. So now this is your at-man. So he's blocking good, okay? Gap on, outside gap down. These two guys here, since they are both inside the at-man, they are both going to block God, okay? This guy right here, your 8-man, he is now your kingpin. So he is one guy, I'm sorry, yeah, he's one guy outside the at-man, so he's blocking GDB, okay? Gap, down, backer, okay? So, see how this treps out. So this guy is blocking mama. This guy's blocking gap on down, so he has a guy down. He doesn't have a guy in his gap, doesn't have a guy on, so he doubles on the nose. This guy's blocking gap on down. He has a man on him, so he is going to block here. This guy is blocking gap, on, outside gap, or down. He steps to the line and he sees that this guy is on him, okay? So what he's going to do is he's going to take that on block, and what I would tell him is I'd have him work his shoulders to the outside, okay? Because remember, the running point is the outside hip of your at-man, okay? And this guy's gap, down, backer. So he is going to also go to this end, okay? Because that's a down block for him because he's on his inside neighbor. So you got a double team on the end, all right? Now, the play again is Ray 36 power. So he's going to, his kickoff is, his aiming point is a little bit outside. Again, you have pullers coming in. This puller is going to take this backer. This puller is going to lead to probably this other backer, okay? Quarterback is going to toss, soft toss right here. And then he's going to continue his spin, and he will try to probably also go maybe backer to safety because you'll have a safety up here, okay? Now, this center, this corner man, they're using him for contain, right? So he's a free runner, so he's going to come up field, and that's why you have your fullback. And whether you offset your fullback right, whether he's center, but he's going to come right here, and he's going to kick out this center, okay? The blocking already fixed itself. You got two guys on the inside blocking God. You got your at-man blocking good. You got your first guy outside of the at-man blocking GDB. And you have, that's it. The progressions end, all right? Now, coaches will say a lot of coaches when they see this system, they're like, all right, coach, well, you know, what do I do if they stack the line? Like, not everyone's in a 5-2. Like, what the fuck, okay? It doesn't matter how many dudes they put on the line. Your blocking rules will still apply, and everyone will be blocked. I'll give you a classic example, okay? I'm going to run our base play. I'm going to just run it in the gun for right now. I'll just show you in the gun. Okay, so this is in the gun. Let's just say that this team is they're pissed, and they're gonna put a guy on everybody. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're gonna be in a fucking 9-2. Like they're giving up on just defending the fucking run. Okay? Now, in this situation, this is the one situation where the center is center has a problem, okay? Because he is man on, man away. Okay? He has a man on, and he also has a man away. So he has a problem. Okay? So what he's going to do is he's going to come to the line, and this would be a situation where he would immediately make a domino call, okay? Comes to the line and he yells, domino, domino, domino. What domino does is it changes everybody on the line to a G, D, O scenario. The first two letters of domino is D-O. Everybody goes to GDO, okay? And that is the reason you do that is because if the center is the only one to call this, okay? Basically happens is everybody on the line, including the center, becomes gap down on, okay? So the center's going to go to the line. He's no longer mama because he called domino. Everybody understands we're all blocking GDO. So he's going to block down because his rule says so. The guard is blocking gap down on, so he makes his down block here. The tackle's blocking GDO, avoids his man on because he's got a down block. Tight end knows he's blocking GDO, so he's going to down block. And he is also blocking GDO, so he is going to down block. Okay? End is a free runner. Have my fullback offset. He kicks out here. Okay? Pullers pull. This guy is going to fast inside reach. This guy is going to pull. I mean, there's really no one else to block because they got rid of everybody. And then after the handoff, he's going to make the handoff here, and he's going to boot backside, fake. That draws this guy. This guy has to play that safe. He has to play it. Safe. So yeah, that just shows you that a domino call. Okay, this is the only time that I would ever have my center call domino because because it makes sure everyone's picking up the guys. If they stayed with their standard good God system, most likely this guy would be a free runner. This guy's tackle over here, because if the center makes an on block, this guy can run right behind the puller and get right into the backfield. So that's why you do that. All right, I'm trying to think of some other possibilities. I mean, honestly, running 34 power and 25 power 85% of the time, usually the setup is usually always going to look like this. Mama, God, good, GDB, FBI. 90% of the time, I would say 90% of the plays I run, this is the progression. God, good, GDB, FBI. I don't have a backer to safety guy because there's not an extra person over here. Anytime I also have XX motion, like if this kid is doing an XX fake, then he's not blocking FBI. So understand that if he's doing an XX fake, that he's not blocking first backer inside, because he can't. He has to go execute his fake. You see that on counter trap. I run XX. I run XX fakes behind wedge. Also, like, let's say for a Lee, let me just draw that out. Lee 34 counter. So Lee 34 counter. All right, so Lee 34 counter. I'll just erase this. And this time we'll go with, I don't know, we'll go with a 4-4. This is actually a 6-2, but we'll just make it a 6-2. How about that? 6-2, backer, and roll this corners back. All right. So this is going to be a Lee. This is going to be a Lee 34 counter. Lee 34 counter. So your at man is still this guy, okay? He's going to be blocking good. This guy's blocking God. This guy's blocking mama, okay? So we automatically know mama, he's making this block, okay? This guy's blocking God, gap on down, so he comes right here. He picks up this guy. Your at man is blocking good. Gap, no. Nobody in his gap. On, no. He's got a guy, though, in his outside gap between the tackle and the tight end right there. So he's going to make this block right here, okay? Try to work his hips to the outside, okay? This guy's blocking gap down backer. He has automatically someone in his gap, so there's going to be a double team right here, okay? First backer inside. They're running a 6-2, so that's pretty oh, but again, this is Lee 34 counter. This is actually a good thing. His blocking rule would be FBI, but he's going in motion as a fake, okay? Because he's going in Lee motion. Quarterback's here. Usually on this, I would usually offset him over here, my fullback, okay? So, end is a free runner. He's not blocked. On all my counter plays, the responsibility goes to the guard. The guard will pull. He will make the kick out block here, okay? Basically, the fullback is going to be the lead now. The gate puller is going to come in my tight end, and he's going to block to center, inside out, okay? This guy right here, he's making a small bucket step, okay? Quarterback comes around. It's an inside handoff. It happens like right about here because this guy shoots. Runs right up here, okay? Ball exchange happens right around. This is a tight, I'm sorry, whoa, this is crazy. That was the fullback. This is a tight handoff here, okay? Fullback is just going to counter step, wait for the guard. The guard is going to cross his face, then he's going to follow the guard, and he comes through the hole, right to backer. Fullback should always be taken on your backer. This is my 4 back. This is my 2 back. I'm sorry, this is my 3 back, and this is my 2 back. Okay? All right. As you can see, everybody's picked up. Get a fast inside reach from this guy right here. This end is not going to be able to make the play unless he's so fast that he chases your two back, but that's unlikely. He's probably going to get drawn off by this motion. This motion right here kind of keeps this guy pinned, at least for a second. And that's pretty much it, man. So like I said, if you guys maintain that you know these rules, the system adjusts itself, man. You can change the at man, you can change the person you're running at. Again, you just have to know this progression: God, good, GDB, FBI, and backer to safety, and how it relates down the line. On the back side of the line, I told you guys I have a on the back side of my line. So the only thing that has rules progression is the play side of the line. Okay, so on the back side of the line, this doesn't really, I won't really discuss this in this video, but let's assume we're under center and I have an offset fullback, say here. So what happens on the back side of the line, because I am gate pulling, okay, so I am using a gate pull technique. So my gate would be guard and tight end. So this guy if it's a 34 power, if we're running like Ray 34 power running right here, this is a pull, run the backward C. This is a pull inside out, okay? And this guy is making a fast inside reach. He's just basically covering anyone in this area, okay? If there's a tackle here, and there's a tackle here, and there's like a freaking tackle here, this guy's making the block here. Your center is man on, man away. Your tackle is not pulling, but he's fast inside reach blocking. Just basically he's wheeling his ass towards the play. So as he steps off, he fast inside reaches, and he just meets this guy. Just basically create a barrier for that tackle to be able to just, like, you know, chase the play. And that's pretty much it. Again, your end is always based on these rules. Your defensive end should always be a free runner picked up by the fucking fullback. And that's pretty much it, man. Other than that, the system runs itself. So we went over domino calls. Domino calls are only made by your center only, and they're only made if the center is in conflict because he has a man on and a man away. The only time that will happen is like super loaded fronts, like a 9-2 or like an 8-3 or an 8-2-1. I've seen 10-1s before, which is crazy. Because again, it's a single layer of defense, and if you break even one hole, like, there's nobody left to tackle you. So for teams that think they can get into a 10-1 to stop you, they're taking huge risks. I mean, if you throw any passes, they're done. That's pretty much it, man. So that's the Good God system. Hope you enjoyed it.